Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. Reggae is today one of the most popular and beloved genres of music on the planet. That throbbing, infectious sound that's perfect for deep reflection, relaxation, or when you just feel like skanking the night away. Today, there are massive reggae festivals around the globe with tens of thousands of ecstatic fans in attendance. But when that genre first emerged from Jamaica in the late 1960s, it was seen overseas as little more than a novelty sound that wouldn't last. It would take the phenomenal breakout successes of some pioneers and the ascension of their music to the top of the charts overseas for reggae's arrival in the mainstream to become official. In this video, we're presenting the first 7 reggae artists to reach number 1 on the international charts, and we're listing these artists in chronological order. Number 7, Desmond Dekker. Though Millie Small had almost topped the charts with My Boy Lollipop 4 years earlier, the first reggae artist to bag a number 1 internationally was none other than the great Desmond Adolphus Dekker, aka Desmond Dekker. This incredible singer and songwriter, who had a day job as a welder before going into music, was rejected by the likes of Coxsone Dodd and Duke Reid before being taken on by Leslie Kong at his Beverly's record label in 1961. Incidentally, it was Desmond Dekker who introduced Bob Marley, also a welder at the time in the same workshop, to Leslie Kong at his Beverly's record label, where the Tough Gong would record his first song, One Cup of Coffee. Desmond Dekker would release some decent hit songs locally, but it would take the classic song Israelites that was released in October of 1968 for him to become an international sensation. By April 1969, the song Israelites would rise to number 1 on the UK singles charts, as well as number 1 in the Netherlands and West Germany, not to mention top 10 in 12 other European countries and the American continent. And it achieved this outstanding success despite pre-release fears that foreign listeners would have trouble understanding the lyrics due to the rich Jamaican patois. Number 6, Dave and Ansel Collins. In 1970, the musical duo of vocalist Dave Barker and keyboardist Ansel Collins, coming straight out of Kingston, Jamaica, would join forces and craft an infectious stunner that would make them both local and international successes. Both men had been in-house studio personnel for Lee Scratch Perry since the late 1960s and decided to put their musical chemistry into a project. They would record the song Double Barrel, which was produced by legendary producer Winston Riley of Techniques Records and was the first record that Sly Dunbar, then just 18, would ever play on. And you can even hear Dave Barker giving him a shout out with Pressure Them Sly around the 1 minute mark. And Dave's vocals had a James Brown feel with lots of interjections like and Good God on the record. The song Double Barrel didn't only top charts in Jamaica but would go to number 1 on the UK singles charts by May 1971 and stayed up there for 3 weeks, selling more than 300,000 copies, and also went to number 1 in Mexico and the Netherlands. Number 5, Ken Boothe. This elite Jamaican vocalist is, in my humble opinion, among the top 5 reggae singers of all time if we're talking about pure crooning ability. This Kingston native was born and raised in Denham Town and was encouraged to go into music by his elder sister, who was already an established vocalist. He began his career under the stables of Duke Reid and would bag a string of hit singles that saw him become one of the major stars of the rocksteady era. And he would record for virtually every major producer in Jamaica, but would only achieve massive international success when he collaborated with producer Lloyd Chalmers for the song Everything I Own that hit the streets in late 1974. The song was a cover of a track done by American soft rock band Bread, which had reached number 32 on the charts. But Ken Boothe's version became a huge hit that went to number 1 on the UK singles charts and stayed up there for 3 weeks, eventually spending a total of 13 weeks on the charts. It performed the same feat in Ireland, also reaching the top spot in that country and staying up there for 3 weeks. Number 4, Althea and Donna. In 1977, this delightful duo would stun the world with a massive hit that literally started out as a joke. One average day in Kingston, 2 former schoolmates and wannabe singers in Althea Forrest and Donna Reid were hanging out in the streets just trying to harmonize and do a few freestyles on a sidewalk, and they began to ad-lib their own version of a song called 3-Piece Suit by dancehall artist Trinity. As fate would have it, none other than Jacob Miller happened to be walking by and stumbled on what they were doing. He was so impressed that he would take them straight to Joe Gibbs' studio to record the song, and the result became the incredibly catchy Uptown ranking. That track blew up in Jamaica and rocked the island throughout the last weeks of 1977, but the incredible good fortune that seemed to follow the duo continued and made it a global hit. Legendary UK BBC radio DJ John Peel was supposed to play a song called Calico Suit on his show and accidentally played Uptown Ranking instead. Following that divinely inspired error, Peel became inundated with hundreds of calls requesting the song be played again, as well as seeking for more information on who sung it. It would literally blow its way into the UK charts after the duo appeared on UK musical show Top of the Pops and reached number 1 in that country by January 1978, spending a total of 11 weeks in the charts. Number 3. Musical Youth. In 1982, UK reggae boy band Musical Youth would record their own version of a track done by the Mighty Diamonds, which had been named Pass the Coochie, which had been a moderate hit, but Musical Youth would name their own version Pass the Dutchie. The boys had been together for 3 years, but when they released Pass the Dutchie in September of that year, it became a smash hit that would fly up to number 1 in the UK singles charts by October and would stay up there for 3 weeks. But that was just the beginning. Pass the Dutchie would also soar up to number 1 in Australia, Belgium, Canada, Iceland, Netherlands, New Zealand, Spain, and the US, selling more than 5 million records by 1983. Number 2. Boris Gardiner. By the mid-1980s, then veteran singer and bassist Boris Gardiner seemed past his peak after scoring several hit records in the 1960s and 1970s, which had been big in Jamaica and even managed to cross over into the UK moderately. In those times, the musical landscape in Jamaica seemed to have moved on from his generation's roots reggae fixation to the more upbeat territory of dancehall. However, Boris Gardiner would collaborate with producer Willie Lindo to record 3 songs in 1986, and one of these was the track I Want to Wake Up With You. Upon release, it was barely noticed in Jamaica as red-hot dancehall stars like Supercat and Barrington Levy were firmly in charge of the airwaves. In fact, the song was released the same day as Supercat's debut album, Boothe, but slowly the song would gain traction and eventually reach number 5 in the Jamaican charts, and it would get noticed by a UK-based producer who got a deal for that song to be distributed in Britain by UK retail giants Woolworths, and upon release in Britain, it became a massive hit that would reach number 1 on the UK singles charts and stay up there for a nice 3 weeks, and would also reach number 1 in the Australian charts. And coming in at number 1 are Chaka Demus and Pliers. By 1993, veteran dancehall artists Chaka Demus and Pliers were marking their first year as a duo since the pair united to form the incredible partnership. And more importantly, it would be the year that they would blast their way into the reckoning as global superstars after their singles Tease Me and Murder She Wrote would climb into the top 10 on the UK singles charts. The album Tease Me will get to number 1 on the UK album charts, where it will stay for 2 weeks. And to add to their incredible run, their next single, Twist and Shout, which featured Jack Radix and Sly and Robbie's Taxi Gang team, would also reach number 1 on the UK charts. So there you have it. Thank you for watching the video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, Jah bless.